When most of the air forces around the world are still majoritarily operating 4th or 4.5 generation combat aircraft, and few of them are working on 5th generation fighter aircraft, only US and to some extent China has been able to deploy 5th generation fighter aircrafts. But United States Air Force seems to have tested a prototype for next generation combat aircraft. Here I would like to quote Will Roper, Assistant Secretary of Air Force for Acquisition, Technology and Logistics. He said, US has already built and flown a full-scale flight demonstrator in real world, as we broke records in doing it. Now before we talk about this next generation combat aircraft and its possible characteristics, we need to understand why US has tested this next generation fighter when it is already inducting F-35 Lightning II in US military. Well, there can be several reasons behind it, but the most important reason will be United States technological supremacy that US will not want to lose in future. The determination of next superpower will depend upon the technological supremacy, and US is already ahead of rest of the world when it comes to 5th generation fighter aircraft, or let's say most of the military technology. And with 6th generation, US will try to retain its position as a tech superpower in future. Now let's talk about the specifications and features of this aircraft itself. Well, there is no public information about the requirements given by the USAF or Department of Defense or even the defense contractors involved in this project. So for the most part, we'll have to assume. The basic requirement of NG-80, Next Generation Air Dominance Platform, is a system with longer range, much higher payload, and should be able to carry hypersonic weapon systems. But let's speculate some of the technologies that will be possibly developed for the 6th generation fighter aircraft. Now let's talk about the engine itself. USAF is running a program known as Adaptive Versatile Engine Technology under Advanced Engine Technology Development under Department of Defense. Now what exactly is ADVENT? Most of the current generation engines either have high thrust or run at high fuel efficiency. The goal here is to build an engine with over 200 kN thrust and with a dynamic mode where user can choose to fly in high efficiency or high thrust mode. This option is solely chosen by the pilot depending upon the mission requirement. General Electric has claimed that their new engine will have 50% improvement in loiter time, 33% increase in range, 25% reduction in fuel consumption, and 60% heat absorption. The next feature that 6th generation fighter will have is a manned and unmanned capability. A 6th generation fighter is expected to perform similarly with or without a human in cockpit. The loyal wingman concept is also being developed around 6th generation fighter. This means an unmanned aircraft will accompany the fighter with a similar sensors and combat capability, making target acquisition and elimination much more easier for the manned aircraft. But the 6th generation fighter aircraft might not be what most people think it will be. Pentagon envisions 6th generation fighter as not just one fighter but a family of aerial systems with autonomous or semi-autonomous capabilities. Now imagine a F-35 pilot with 2 or 3 loyal wingman aircraft with it. Now these aircraft will go acquire and eliminate the target, and all of this will be controlled by the F-35 pilot hundreds of miles away from the actual operation zone. I will again quote Will Roper here. We are going after the most complicated systems that we have ever built and checked all the boxes with this technology. In fact, we have not just checked the boxes, but we have demonstrated something that is truly magical. Now I'm not really sure what to make out of this, but all I can say is that this next generation fighter will give USAF the advantage that it always had. Other technologies that are being developed for this next generation fighter aircraft is directed energy weapon and next generation electronic warfare weapon. We must also remember that by the time this aircraft will be ready for deployment, the AI technology will be much more ahead of what it is right now. So this loyal wingman will be much more smarter than what we think. Well, since we are talking about next generation fighter aircraft, we shall talk about some other countries which are also developing next generation fighters. Example, UK, Italy, Sweden, Germany, Spain, France, China, India, Japan, Russia. All these countries are either conceptualizing or at early design phase of this aircraft. We must remember that in terms of technological dominance, USAF is by far ahead of any other nation. And since China is destined to overtake US economically, its technological edge that US can maintain and stay on the top as a superpower. If you like these kind of videos, then please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this video. Spearhead over and out.